If you're an avid In the Bubble listener, you know that the COVID-19 pandemic has exposed and exacerbated many of America's deepest systemic issues. With schools and daycare centers closed for much of the past year, and many parents working from home or on the front lines, our country's childcare crisis is chief among them. Parents can barely afford the cost of care, and childcare centers can barely afford to pay their teachers a living wage. That's why Lemonada Media, the company that makes this show, has decided to tackle this crisis head-on in a new 4-part series that explores how we got here and what we can all do to fix it. No one is coming to save us, so it's time to save ourselves. The show is hosted by Gloria Riviera of ABC News and features parents, teachers, and Call It Like It Is correspondent Kristen Bell, yes, that Kristen Bell, who will reveal how we can create the care system we so desperately need and deserve. No One is Coming to Save Us from Lemonada Media premieres May 20th. Here's an exclusive clip. To hear more, search for No One is Coming to Save Us where you're listening right now.
What started to go through my head was like, okay, so I'm going to get up at 5, I'll pump, I'll make Sadie's lunch for the day, I'll make sure I wash her nap mat because she peed on it yesterday, and so they sent it home. I'll sign that form, there's an apple picking field trip, I'll get ready for my job, which is, it's a job, it's a big job, it's like a lot to think about. And the reality of it started to sit with me, like, is this what it's gonna be like? Is this the secret thing that it's like for everyone? And you just like take pictures when you look good and put them on Instagram so people think everything's okay, but really like this day I'm going through in my head sounds really hard. Is this really what we ask of women so that we can propagate? Like, could this be real? I'm gonna get through this, but like, oh, I didn't realize, like now I'm kind of getting, it's gonna be like battle.
That's Sarah Muncie talking about the challenge of doing all the things that come along with having a newborn, while doing all the things that come along with raising a toddler, while doing all the things that come along with working as a middle school administrator. Maybe it sounds kind of extreme to compare figuring out childcare to battle, but as someone with 3 children who has reported in literal war zones, I can tell you, no, they're not exact comparisons, but Sarah's not far off. Both scenarios have purpose and both can feel like you have totally lost control. I'm Gloria Riviera. I'm a reporter. You might have seen me on TV. For most of my career, I've traveled around the world for network news, covering, among other things, wars, natural disasters, and confounding events like a commercial jetliner vanishing in Asia. But I've never cried on TV, even though I've covered hellish things. And what I hear when I listen to Sarah, and I did not expect to be so affected by that, but what I hear is being there again. I remember when I went back to work after my first son was born, and it was just a nightmare because the expectations had not changed on me. I could get a call at any time. And a big part of me wanted these calls, like assignment calls, which meant you have to leave tonight or, if I was lucky, early the next morning. And we don't know how long you'll be gone, and we don't know when you're coming back. Try telling that to a 3-year-old. And I recently asked my 12-year-old son, he's 12 now, what do you remember about that time? And he said with a straight face and right away, I remember you were constantly leaving. Oh, God. I never knew that that's what he remembered, that he didn't remember the coming home. I have all these memories of coming home. But he remembered the leaving. I remember the night before I would leave for a trip, my kids would ask to sleep with me. And to be honest, we did that a lot. But before I was leaving, they would snuggle up next to me like little boy Velcro. They'd just right up next to me. I would never sleep well because they would clutch at me, like tight little fists on my t-shirt. And I'd say like, it's okay, I'm here. And I really can't believe that the next day I would get up and go. I mean, like, who does that? You know who does that? Working parents. I was not a monster for wanting to work hard and be an amazing mother to my children. But in order to do my job, I needed childcare. I needed someone to look after my kids who I trusted with their lives. It sounds like it's way too much to ask, but isn't it what we're all looking for? Somewhere, someone you trust with your child's life.
But here's the thing they don't tell you in parent school, which doesn't exist, but definitely should. That is a very, very hard thing to come by. It's hard to find great childcare, and once you do that, it's hard to get in. And once you do that, it's hard to afford it. And I couldn't stop thinking about this in light of my own struggles with little boy Velcro. Back home in the US, I kept seeing parents everywhere in the middle of the workday, and I wanted to sort of sidle up to them and ask, how are you doing this? Was it a choice? Did you want to stay home? Are you heading to work after this? And when you do, who's gonna watch that little person next to you? But I never did, because we don't talk about this. There's some unspoken agreement to put on this invisible armor, suffer in silence, and just get through it. So I followed the rules. I stayed in my lane. I kept working. I had a third baby, but my heart kept breaking in the same way that every working parent's heart breaks. And I started to get this outragey feeling that any reporter gets when you know there's a big story there, that something just isn't right, that it shouldn't be like this. The whole way we do childcare in this country felt very broken. And then the pandemic hit, and what was hard became impossible. By December, less than a year into COVID, 1 million women had left the workforce. Thousands of childcare centers simply shut down.
And all of a sudden now, I am taking phone calls about potential stories while also trying to make sure my daughter can get into her Microsoft Teams app, which I was like, I don't know what Microsoft Teams is. Like, a parent's most valuable asset is time. And now at the end of COVID, hopefully, just in sight, we're all fried. And now we have to go back to what was already a totally situation, a damaging situation with serious repercussions beyond what many of us can even imagine.
Mom, the plumber guys thingies that the guys that are working on the shower need you downstairs.
Tell them I'll be there in 5 minutes and we'll go to break soon.
What time is baseball?
5 p.m. Can you close my door? Thank you. Okay. Oh my God, like life is falling apart here. Now the doorbell's ringing.
We need help. And history has shown us again and again, no one is coming to save us. This is a 4-part series about how we got into this complete mess and how we get ourselves out of it. So how do we even do this? Where do we start? Well, let's start wrapping our heads around America's very sorry excuse for an early childcare system with a typical day at a place called Ellis. It's an early childcare center, and it's in Boston's South End. It's 2 brick buildings. By all accounts, Ellis is doing a lot really well. Really the best they can do in what is a very broken system. Here's what I can tell you about Ellis. They are nationally accredited, a very good thing. They have a level 3 quality rating in Massachusetts, also a very good thing. They take care of a lot of different kids from very different financial backgrounds. The teachers there are really dedicated, and parents do everything they can to try to get a spot at that school. Take Shane Dunn. He's a dad of 2 little sweet ones at Ellis.
Even before we told our families we were expecting our first child, we got on waiting lists for infant childcare here in Boston.
And that childcare is a substantial expense.
It's the biggest chunk of our income goes to childcare, and it is significantly more than our mortgage even.
Once they got that coveted spot for their son Liam and later their daughter Eleanor, everything just fell into place. It was so nice. No one had to worry about anything ever again. Wrong. Just kidding. Like Sarah said up top, every day is a battle. And for Shane, that battle is well underway by breakfast.
Oh, Liam, it's your breakfast time.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I like it.
That means jackets, boots, backpacks ready.
Okay, I gotta put your jacket on, okay? Before you go in your car seat.
All the things you need to do just to get out the door.
Do the same thing every day.
Buckle them in their seatbelts, in their car seats.
Here we go. I know it's no fun to go in your car seat. Oh, you don't want to be locked up. Hey.
And they're off.
Green light means go. Okay, your turn.
So Shane heads out for Ellis, and he is really finally looking forward to starting his day. Ellis isn't far, but that doesn't mean it's an easy drive.
There's a song from Frozen that they use the word crazy a few times. He said, I want to hear the song Crazy.
Please.
I know, but I know you want that song.
Literally the minute we get into the car and I buckle him into his car seat, he's like, I want to hear it.
But I need to record a little bit. Yeah, Liam.
Shane's in a bind because he's using his phone to record them going to Ellis, like we asked him to. He was very nice to say yes. But it's also his phone that plays the song Liam very desperately wants to hear. So what does he do? Because I don't know if you know any little small people, very cute, but very angry when you get between them and anything that has to do with Frozen.
No, you have to put crazy. Gotta put crazy.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it today, Liam.
I do.
I know you're going crazy.
It's my favorite.
Do you think you want to?
I do want to put it on.
I know you do, but we're gonna be at school soon.
No, I don't want to get to school yet. No, I want to put crazy. I want to go crazy.
I will say our son is very strong-willed and love that about him.
Crazy.
Guess what? Frozen won.
Hi, Liam. Kristen Bell here, your Call It Like It Is correspondent. You know, I play Anna in Frozen, and I sing that song that you're calling crazy. It's actually called Love is an Open Door, but it doesn't matter. Let's just keep it moving. Neither here nor there. I do have to say something actually crazy, though. Your dad, the sweet, exhausted guy you're yelling at who's paying more for preschool than the home you live in, he's the kind of person that this system works well for. And it's not even working that great for him. Here's the truth. For most people, the childcare system is not awesome. I mean, when you turn 5, you get to go to big kid school. And guess what? It's free. So everyone gets to go, and everyone has to go. It's actually a law. And while you're there, you're safe. So your parents can do fun things like go to the DMV or jump on a Zoom call or sit in traffic or clean the house or, God forbid, get a workout in. You know, whatever it is that your parents need to do. This magical place is called public school. And it's funded by something called taxes, which, look, can get kind of boring and complicated, and it's very high-level math, but it basically means that everyone pitches in. But Liam, here's the thing. Before you turn 5, nobody cares about you or your parents, and you're basically on your own. What? So if you're a parent and you want to work or you need to work, which is the case for almost all parents, and please note that almost all is a scientific term, here are your choices. Number 1, early learning centers. You've also probably heard the grown-ups call these preschool or daycare, like Ellis, where you're headed now. And as you know, Liam, these places are awesome if you're lucky enough to get a spot. Your dad had to get on the wait list for childcare before he even told Grandma and Pop-Pop that you were on the way. But if you get in, it is great. You've got trained teachers with lesson plans who do circle time and snacks, tons of snacks. And you get to hang out with a bunch of other kids your age, which means friends and social skills and conflict resolution. All this for the cool price of, drumroll please, $30,000 a year. $20,000 if you're lucky. And that's before any extra fees, like before care or after care, so your dad can actually get to work on time or stay for that 4 p.m. meeting. But don't worry, Liam. Your dad can totes purchase that extra time for an additional fee. Oh, and tell him not to be late to pick you up because they do charge by the minute. Number 2, family childcare, where a teacher takes care of kids in their own home. It's cozy, it's familiar, it's often the best choice for parents who work night shifts. But this can still be crazy expensive, and they're kind of hard to find. Like, you gotta know somebody who knows somebody who, knows somebody. It's tricky. Number 3, nannies. This is custom childcare. They come to your house, you get to play with your own toys, you get to decide what fun things you do, mom and dad get to choose the hours, and it's all about you, Liam. But, like anything custom, it's gonna cost ya. Number 4, do it yourself. DIY, baby. This includes stay-at-home parents or Grandma and Pop-Pop or the neighbor down the street. And when it's a choice, this can be a great option. But sometimes it's not a choice. And that can be really hard. Like maybe you have to quit your dream job and the thing that makes you really happy to take care of your son, who's notably strong-willed. And then when you quit your job, you stop making money. And if you stop making money, then how are you supposed to pay for your home and all your favorite toys and snacks? And the point is, everyone likes choices, Liam, even grown-ups. And when it comes to childcare, every caregiver should have a choice. But it's hard to have a choice when childcare can cost more than college tuition or your salary or your mortgage, Liam. Your mortgage. And yes, in some cases, the government does help. There's an awesome place called Head Start for kids who qualify, but there aren't enough spots for those who do. And to be honest, most families don't qualify. So just like that song you love, this is crazy. It's this super confusing maze of uber expensive and drastically different options for how to take care of kids like you when your brain is the spongiest. It also happens to be the time when your parents feel so exhausted and need the most help. Wow, that was a lot. Liam, did I lose ya? Buddy, have you been napping this whole time? Okay, Gloria, back to you.
Thank you, Kristen. Reporting for No One Is Coming to Save Us, that was our Call It Like It Is correspondent, Kristen Bell.